In this video, we're going to focus on hypothesis testing with two proportions. So let's work on this example problem. Number one, company XYZ manufactures laptops. For quality control, two sets of laptops were tested. In the first group, 32 out of 800 were found to contain some sort of defect. In the second group, 30 out of 500 were found to have a defect. Is the difference between the two groups significant? What would you say? Well, let's find out. We're going to use a significance level of 0.05. So let's write down what we know. The sample size for the first group is 800, and the sample size for the second group is 500. Now, we need to calculate the sample proportion for each group. So for the first group, the sample proportion, also known as p hat, this is going to be x1 over n1. So we have 32 successes, in this case defects, over a sample size of 800. So 32 divided by 800, that's going to give us a proportion of 0.04. Now let's do the same thing for the second group. So the sample proportion is going to be x2 over n2. So we had 30 defects out of a sample size of 500. 30 divided by 500 is 0.06. So I'm going to rewrite this here. So now what do you think our next step is in this problem? What should we do next? Now we do need to write the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. We should have done that in the beginning, but let's go ahead and do that now. Now think about why this test is being done. We want to find out the difference between the two groups, if the difference is significant. So we believe that there is a difference, that P2 and P1 are not the same. That's why we're conducting the test. So therefore, for the null hypothesis, the status quo must be that they are the same, since we're trying to prove it otherwise. Now, our next step is to calculate z. But before we do that, we need to find the critical z values. What type of distribution are we dealing with, by the way? Should we use a t-distribution or a normal distribution? What would you say? Now, because the sample sizes for both groups are very large, they're well above 30, we need to use the normal distribution. And the fact that I mentioned z values is another indication that we should use the normal distribution. Now, alpha is 0.05. So this here is alpha over 2. So that's an area of 0.025. And the same is true for this side. That's 0.025. 1 minus alpha, or 1 minus 0.05, gives us the area in the middle, which is 0.95. Now, for those of you who might be wondering, the significance level is alpha. So if alpha is 0.05, alpha over 2 is 0.025. Just for those of you who are wondering, hey, how did you get that number? So now you know. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to calculate the cumulative area up to this point from the left. So that's going to be the sum of these two numbers. So 0.025 plus 0.95 gives us a cumulative area of 0.975. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this value and we're going to find the critical z values from the positive z table, or the positive z-score table. So let's go ahead and do that now. So here is the positive z-score table. And as you can see, it correlates to the cumulative area from the left up to z. So we need to look for a cumulative area of 0.975. And here it is right here. So we got to find a z-score that corresponds to that area. So looking at the row, we have a row of 1.9 and a column 0.06. So adding those two numbers, 0.06 plus 1.9, gives us a corresponding z-value of 1.96. So now let's write those z-values here. So these are critical z-values because they separate the rejection region, which is shaded in blue, from the failed to reject region, which is not shaded. So now what we need to do is we need to get our calculated z-values and compare it to our critical z-values. So here's the formula that we're going to use. So the calculated z-value when dealing with a difference of two proportions is going to be p hat 1 minus p hat 2. Those are the sample proportions that we have here. And this is minus p1 minus p2. That is the population proportion divided by the square root of p hat. That's the pool proportion, which we'll talk about how to get that. And then times 1 minus p hat times 1 over n plus 1 plus 1 over n plus 2. Now, notice that based on the null hypothesis, P1 is equal to P2. So if we move P2 to the left, we'll get this expression. P1 minus P2 is 0. So this part here, we can replace that with 0. Now, what we need to find before we can use this formula is we need to calculate the pooled proportion. And so here's the formula that will help you to do that. I'm going to put it here. It's x1 plus x2 divided by n1 plus n2. So x1 in this problem, that is 32, and x2 in this problem is 30. n1 is 800, and 2 is 500. So 32 plus 30 gives us 62. 800 plus 500, that's 1300. So 62 divided by 1300 is 0.04769. So now we have our pooled proportion. So we have everything that we need to plug in to that formula. So ZC is going to be P1 hat, which is 0.04, minus P2 hat, that's 0.06. And as we said before, P1 minus P2 is equal to 0. And this is going to be divided by the square root of the pooled proportion, which is 0.04769, and then we're going to multiply that by 1 minus p hat, or 0.04769. And then this is going to be times 1 over n1. n1 is 800. And then plus 1 over n2, where n2 is 500. So 0.04 minus 0.06. That's negative 0.02. Now for the other part in the bottom, I'm just going to plug all of that in. So hold on one second. It's going to take me some time to put this into the calculator. So for the part on the bottom, I got 0.012149. So dividing these two numbers will give us our calculated z-value, which is approximately negative 1.646. So negative 1.646 lies somewhere here between 0 and negative 1.96. So notice that it doesn't fall in the rejection region. It falls in the fail to reject region, which we can call FTR. So therefore, we can't reject the null hypothesis. So we can throw out the alternative hypothesis, which implies that the null hypothesis is true. So we can say there is not a significant difference between the proportions of the two groups. These two numbers are close enough.